make sure you subscribe and hit the bell down below. Welcome to Let's Chat. We're bringing out and
Welcome to Let's Chat with Spanky Payne and co-host Al Reardon at the beautiful Spanky's Dive Bar.
Welcome to Let's Chat with Spanky Payne, Al Reardon, Presley Payne, and we got the Milkhouse heaters.
Yay, Jan and Mike.
They're coming playing Roots on the River this year too.
That's coming right up, June 7th.
Make sure we get
8th,
that out there.
9th.
Roots on the River is a
Roots
good
on the River, Bells Falls,
local
Vermont. Always a
festival.
fabulous thing.
So we're gonna get Presley out of the way so we can.
We're going to get him out of the way. We're going to get you out of the way.
So you got to ask your question.
How did you come up with the band name?
That's such a great question.
It is a great question.
I'll let you answer that, Mike.
Well, we first moved to Vermont in 2007. We became full-time residents, and I knew that we were going to be doing acoustic, even though Jan didn't know it yet, that we were going to be doing an acoustic sort of duo thing.
I didn't know.
She didn't know. I had this plan, and I just hadn't revealed it yet. And I think even before we moved here, I was thinking of names, and I had started a list. And one of the things I learned was that Vermont invented the Milkhouse heater, and I thought that was a cool name. And
Yeah, it was an old dairy farmer that was tired of being cold, and he invented the first heater that shut off when it tipped over.
Whoa.
Yeah.
is that right?
Yeah.
I believe that's true.
That's cool.
So
Yeah.
that's a Milkhouse heater, and we thought, what a cool name, and what a
Yeah.
cool Vermont thing.
Well,
So
my old junkyard office, it was a farm, and my dad grew up on that farm, and there was the Milkhouse. And it was always, that's where my office was, and I always thought it was cool, the Milkhouse. They always had a little Milkhouse. So,
Huh.
you got any more questions?
Nope.
So if you guys are playing and you tip over, do you stop?
That's a good question. We haven't found out that
well,
yet.
actually, we did once because you hyperextended your knee.
But that was, we weren't
But that
the
wasn't-
Milkhouse heaters.
We weren't
That's,
the Milkhouse heaters then, but literally, he didn't stop. He rolled on some.
I don't think I missed a note.
No, you didn't. He rolled on some mic cables or guitar or bass
While
cables.
doing
Ooh.
one of those punk
So-
rock scissor
I
jumps.
got a similar thing where I fell off the stage, and I didn't miss a...
Yeah,
No.
you don't miss it. I mean, you do what you have to.
You
do.
got a job to do, and you
I
got to do
bounced
that
off
job.
the freaking floor because it was like, the stage and then the monitor. I fell over the monitor.
Yeah, but you didn't miss. You didn't miss, right? You do what you got to do.
So you mentioned that at that point you weren't the Milkhouse heaters, which brings me to another question. Well, the last show we recorded was with Dwayne Carlton, who had a long and expansive career, and you guys too have been doing this stuff for a long time. And I'd like to give the people a sense of the roots of it. How long have you guys been playing together?
32 years.
32 years. So
met
just getting
in-
started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We met in a rehearsal room
Yeah.
and in Lawrence, Mass.
Yeah.
And we were a group of us were kind of thrown together to put a band together. And Jan had been playing in punk and hardcore bands. I had been playing in punk, ska, sort of new wave bands. I played in a reggae band. And in 1987, we came together in a rehearsal room, and
Lawrence, Mass.
That was at the Black Market Medallions.
no, that was a band that we ended up calling For No One,
For No.
which Jan came up with that name.
It's lifted from a Beatles song. There was a title
Making up plans for no one.
for no one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we were really not playing for anyone. We were playing for ourselves. And we played out under that name for a long time in the Boston area. And then people left. and people came in. We changed the name a lot, but Mike and I were always the core members of every rock band we ever played in.
Yep.
So that went from For No One to The Halo was spelled HEYLOS, to Murder of Crows,
Murder of Crows, yep.
to Organica, to Black Market Medallions. So
So you guys met in the punk scene. That's pretty cool.
we did, yeah,
And-
yeah,
Things have evolved.
Yeah.
yeah. So now we call ourselves Americana folk punk. It's kind of what we are.
Yep. You can definitely
That
feel
works.
the punk in it. We used to have a band called Carrie, and we just called ourselves crust folk,
Hmm.
like because it was crust punk mixed with like folk music
Right.
and storytelling.
You know, I think we met one of the guys from Carrion. He came and he did something when we were putting in our wood stove.
Oh.
He works for Friends of...
His son.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It
think.
was a carpenter thing.
I'm not sure.
I don't think so. It was... I think he was doing an estimate on what it would cost to set it up.
Something like that.
But
That would maybe be. That would probably be Aaron. Aaron was the mandolin player,
Oh, sounds like it was a long time ago, but
or the guitar player was crazy and bipolar, schizophrenic, manic depressant.
typical
Wow,
artists.
that's a lot to hold.
typical
Typical
guitarist.
Well, the funny thing is that I was like, he was on all these pills. I was like, you should get off all that stuff. You're fine. You're fine. Moved into my house. Took off all his pills. Yeah, he wasn't fine. He wasn't fine. I believed in medicine after that a little bit more.
Yeah. There's certainly some need out there for medicine. Yeah.
He was scary.
So,
Well, along this long and varied road we're calling a career, this happened,
Oh, that's a good album.
which is just so cool. The idea of it, it's called Scene of the Crime. And what went on here?
Somebody had the idea for, and it was actually, what was his name?
I don't remember his name, but it might be on that CD.
Meet Depressed.
Oh,
the
Pete
guy from
Depressed,
Yeah,
Meet
Pete,
Depressed.
Pete, and I don't remember Pete's last name, but
He had this idea. His info is in there.
Yep.
He had this idea to drag us up to a recording studio in Maine,
Pete
and record a bunch of punk bands and give everybody an hour.
hence the name
24 bands in 24 hours.
So it was sort of a 2-day extravaganza. There were some clubs in Portland that hosted a few of the bands, played the night before, and then
I think we did one of those shows.
we did one of those shows, and then at midnight, the recording started, where a band would just go in, set up, and in 1 hour,
Get it
totally get it live, get it done, and then get out, and the next band would come in.
Oh, fun.
So it
Of course,
was.
I'm feeling for the
one of my
recording.
favorites is on here is Johnny Earthquake.
Oh right, that's how we met him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Johnny's the man.
Yeah.
My daughter's name is VAYDA Earthquake after him. So.
Nice.
Yeah. We go to his Christmas parties and he comes to our Thanksgiving.
Nice. That's awesome.
He's, when I was out doing punk shows, Morpheus, and I was on 2 spark plugs flew out of my truck, and he was there with the flashlight, kneeled up in the motor with me, fixing it too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he helps everybody out. Johnny's
That's
the
awesome.
man. So how long has the Milkhouse Heaters been together?
How long have you guys been heating milk houses?
The acoustic.
I think we put it together in 2010. We did our first open mic. We rehearsed a little bit. We played with a couple of guys. One was a fiddle player from Vermont. I worked in a machine shop. That was one of my first jobs here. And there was a guy who played fiddle and this other guy who played guitar, and we tried to put something together. And those guys weren't interested in having the pressure of like putting something together with.
They didn't want to play out. They just wanted to play for fun.
They wouldn't mind playing it out, but they didn't want too much structure.
Yeah.
And
That's what I am now.
Yeah, and Mike and I we thrive on playing out. We thrive on playing for people.
Yeah.
It's just what we've always done, what we love to do. So,
The guitarist, when I was working with him in this machine shop, and he was a great guitarist. He was really, really good guitarist, and they were setting up at Roots on the River, right next to Chamberlain Machine where we were working, and I said, that'd be a great festival to play. And he looked at me with big eyes like, we can't play that. That's for like
Right.
bigger name acts. And my attitude, our attitude has always been is,
Why not?
why not?
We don't try.
Right.
That's
why
right.
not? I mean, for
And we
us,
played it
it's-
3 times. And
Right, we have played there. Thank you, Ray.
Yeah.
Thank you, Roots
I
on
think
the
I've
River.
seen
We
2
love-
of those 3
we love
times.
Ray.
We do love Ray.
Yep.
Ray's a
And,
hard worker.
Yeah,
He sure is.
He's done a lot for music in our area. It's really,
And
thank
then
you, Ray.
bringing it right up to the present, yesterday you guys played at Plum Island, Massachusetts.
yeah.
Plumfest.
Plum
Yeah.
That's why
Fest.
he's a little red.
It's just
Yeah.
a little bit. Yeah, Plumfest. So it was almost 100 bands, 99
Wow.
bands, maybe.
That's awesome.
All of Plum Island, which is Newbury and Newburyport, Massachusetts. It's a barrier island. You just go over a little causeway bridge and you're on the island. It's just this long slip of land with gorgeous houses, and people were using their decks, their front porches. The island was full of people. There's little food vendors
How cool is
everywhere.
that?
They had school buses as shuttles taking you to the different sites. We
Wow.
had awesome hosts, Rick and Eileen. You guys were so great for us. Yeah. And,
Great musicians, great bands. I got to meet Gary Shane yesterday, and he's one of my all-time favorites from back in the Boston music scene.
Boston legend.
Yeah, he's. Do you remember him, Alan?
I don't.
Gary Shane.
Shane Champagne Band was one of them, and then he had Gary Shane in the Detour. He had a couple of songs that got a lot of airplay on the local and national
Yeah.
radio with.
Yeah. I did. I listened to a lot of college radio when I was in the Boston
Yeah.
area.
You probably
And
would have
on the
heard
Cape,
him.
Cape Cod music scene was kind of cool. It was almost like an extension of Boston. The Boston band in the summertime, you get all the Boston bands would shoot down the Cape.
Well, Boston
Play a couple-
really got started in Hyannis. The band
The
Boston.
band Boston, right? Dancing on
Dancing
the streets of Hyannis.
Right, right.
No, it was such a cool scene back, and it's like I kind of came of age
Yeah,
in that scene.
yeah. It was a great time for music.
Wasn't Boston around your guys' time to start when they were starting out?
Boston was like 76. The
Boston
band Boston?
band, yeah.
That was like 75, 76. That
And
was
that-
pretty groundbreaking.
It was.
what it
You know, the
was.
way it was recorded and everything was pretty tricky. It wasn't really what I was into at the time. But I remember it being. I remember having to listen to it with headphones on, and
Well, it was interesting because it did change music in a big way.
Yes.
You know, Boston, as far as pop music stuff on the radio, it changed in a huge way. And then the next phase from Boston music that changed things again was the Cars.
The
Yeah.
Cars.
Changed
Yeah.
it all
And
over again.
yeah, and the
So-
Ramones and all that new
Devo.
stuff out of New
out
York.
of New York. So they
In
were
'76, it was like the Runaways. It was the Ramones. So they bumped Boston right out as soon as that
Right,
stuff
right.
I think
came
the
along.
Cars have gained respect over the years.
Oh, absolutely.
That people see now for what they were and how strong they were through the '80s.
That was my first introduction to this whole underground world. The
Yeah.
Cars really brought it out into the mainstream and made me curious to what's this kind of music and where is this going. And it was a fun time to discover new music, new sounds. It's overwhelming the amount of genres that all of a sudden became available because of the Cars.
I saw them in '78
Did you guys ever
at the
play
Paradise Club.
CBGBs?
Never played
No.
CBGBs, but
But somebody I taught how to play guitar ended up playing at CBGB's, and
Wayne Jane County.
he played for Wayne Jane County. He played in a band called the Peacocks,
Wow.
and they were this punk band, and they kind of became Wayne Jane's backup band.
Yeah.
And yeah, when I ran into him years later, he was like, I played CBGB's. And
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's pretty cool. So we've gone, but never.
We're gonna
played
go to
it.
a commercial break, and we'll be right back with the Milkhouse Heaters.
All right.
everything there's a price. A price you have to pay. For the price of sacrifice. Tell me, are you willing to pay? And he thinks he just laid down his life. Oh, he's everything he has in it. He keeps causing all the strife. Turn around and walk out the door. He's gonna pay some more. Good intentions pave this road. He has no home to return to. He's burning bridges to the ground. He's blaming folks, he's blaming us for letting him down. You bet your life, you bet the fall. More tragedy, unending harm. Yeah, here's the facts, you can't get it back. You'll run today, and you'll find you'll always pay. For everything there is a price, and it's a heavy burden. For everything there is a price, and I told you that already. What I could never see was that your price would include me. You didn't want me yet, no friends or family. You didn't want me yet, oh, it's a tragedy. You didn't want me yet, you didn't want me yet, oh, yeah, yeah.
Well, we're back with the Milkhouse Eaters, and I'll make sure you go to that dance party. And
Yeah, check that out.
we'll have another one in a little bit. The dance party is to help fundraise Punk in the Park because we need the funding to hold that show.
Pay the insurance, rent the tents, do all the rest of the stuff.
Can I ask you how many years this will be?
This will be the 14th year.
I mean,
Oh my
it's
God.
amazing.
That is
That
amazing.
amazing. You know.
It started in 2001. We had to take a break because after 5 because the
City was upset.
we were breaking all the rules and.
Punk in the Park.
And
Should be breaking some
then I
rules.
came back as an adult and parent. And they trusted me to try it again.
So here we are.
So
14
here we
years. That's
are.
awesome, though.
But we did take a 4-year, 5-year break. So,
Keep on trying.
got any serious questions?
Serious questions. Yeah, well, I have a serious item.
Oh,
It's an item.
item.
We talked about some of the places you guys have played and some of the things that you've done. You guys are really busy playing a lot. And one of the things that I saw you play at recently was the fundraiser for the Bell Falls Community Bike Project. And I mentioned this to say thanks.
Oh yeah, you welcome.
All right, because you guys played and killed it and did the sound for everybody else, and it's an important thing for me and for our community, and I just appreciate that you guys do stuff like that.
Awesome.
Yeah, well,
Thanks.
we love Bonnie and what she does there, and being an ex-bike messenger from Boston,
I was gonna bring that
I
up.
can appreciate, bikes and just bumping one more car off the road with a bike.
Yeah,
is-
one more
is a
car
cool
off the
thing.
road, one more butt on a bike saddle is
That's
a,
right.
a really good thing, and that's what they do there, and it's become a really integral part of the Bells Falls community. There's a couple hundred kids riding around on bikes.
Yeah,
that wouldn't
it's
be.
awesome for the kids. I mean, they can volunteer. They can.
Yeah, I got my fat bike here.
Yeah,
today.
that's what I was kind of pointing to. But look, what's wrong with your fat bike that I see?
I don't know. What are you talking about?
Look at the SPANKY'S dive bar spray painting. You see your lights on.
Oh yeah, that's right. My headlight's still on my bike. That's all right.
It'll
Lasts
charge
for
it.
hours.
But so I'm gonna steal your question again.
Go ahead, steal all you got.
Um,
I'm gonna hide my questions.
When you were in your parents' car, say about between 8 and 12, what were you hearing? What were your parents listening to in the car?
Well, back then it was whatever was on the radio. There was no such thing as a CD player,
The
cassette
radio was
player,
Yeah,
AM.
you didn't
It
have
was
much, right?
AM,
Yeah.
Wolfman Jack.
WRKO.
WRKO. Who was the DJ?
68 WRKO.
Dwayne Dorman.
Dale Dorman.
Dale Dorman. That's right.
Dale.
Yeah,
Dale
Dale Dorman.
Dorman.
Yeah.
But they played some
had a
great
long
stuff
career.
because they had to cover the full spectrum of
Yeah.
stuff. And sometimes I think that they had better stuff on the radio then than what.
Steely Dan, Ricky, don't lose that number. What was it? 1974, I think. 1974. Rock the Boat. There was a ton of
huge
ABBA.
corporation.
I mean, trying to think of what else. So you always got your Paul McCartney and Wings.
So it wasn't like your parents had control over.
No.
They just put on
they just
RKO
turned on the
and-
radio.
But what did they?
But I remember having discussions of, we had 8 kids in the station wagon, and there was a discussion of, does it go on RKO or does it go on MEX, or do the parents get control and it goes on either what was country and western
Right,
then,
Yeah.
or news or something. So there was always lobbying and voting.
There was. I mean, my parents were pretty cool about the WRKO. At least we got, pop music.
we got that a lot.
Yeah.
I lived in Salem, New Hampshire, so we didn't have a lot of choices. If we were lucky and near the Mass border, that you could get one of the Lawrence stations, but a lot of the times that was talk radio.
Yeah.
So there wasn't a whole lot of. Salem was very rural at that time.
Yeah. My, how things have
as
changed.
much anymore. Holy
Yeah,
crap!
I mean,
But
FM was just starting to break in
It was.
74?
Well, that was the thing when after WRKO, it was when I discovered WBCN,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
my world changed.
And
Right.
what was the station that Harvey
Warfield.
Warfield was on? That was
WCOZ?
no, it was
CGY.
COZ or there was another one besides BCN.
There was
Not
AAF.
BOZ. C-
No, it wasn't
BOS.
Can't
was
remember what it was,
WBOS.
but started getting into that in like 74. But before that, there wasn't anything.
Were your parents into music?
Absolutely. My parents listened to some great music. And then we had some of my earliest memories are a big tube radio
Ooh.
that sat on the kitchen table, and it was turned on as soon as my mother got up, and it stayed on all day. And I remember hearing some great stuff like Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Yeah.
We
You
just
could
talked
still
about
hear
that.
"This Land Is
Yeah.
My Land" by
Feeling it.
Woody
Yeah.
Woody
Woody Guthrie,
Guthrie.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing, was it Tommy Sheridan backed by the Beatles doing
My Bonnie.
My Bonnie. And then I remember I was just starting to become aware of what was going on in the world, and I could sense that something was changing on the radio, and then all of a sudden the Beatles came on. And one of my first memories is seeing the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan
Yeah,
show,
I saw
and
that
that's
too.
like, you could just feel things changing, and then everything on the radio just started changing, And all the adults back then were like, this stuff won't last. And
Yeah. Devil's music.
Little did they know.
Right. Yeah, so
Yeah.
interesting. So music was a hit and miss thing in my house. My first memory, is such a sad thing, was going over to a neighbor's house with my mom, and there was a piano, an upright piano, and the cover was off, so the keys were exposed, and being like 3.
Yeah.
And like any 3-year-old, just
Oh, yeah.
like pounding on those keys and just being blown away by what was happening.
Yep.
And then my mom calling me over to her for a second. Well, Mrs. Parker closed the
Sad.
cover, and I went
shame
back,
on you, Mrs. Parker.
and my mom, and I went back and I couldn't get to the keys. I couldn't figure out how to get to them, and I was completely bummed out. And it's a memory that it's like one of the earliest.
That's
ones.
one of the ones that's gonna haunt you the rest
I
of your
will
life.
never forget. And I'll always wonder, like, if anyone had noticed my fascination.
I
then.
wonder if your mom noticed it.
She does have regrets about that. She certainly told me later on that she had regrets about that. Yeah.
But we both had older sisters who were our conduit to all kinds of cool music.
Absolutely.
You know, my
It was-
sister listened to Bowie and Deep Purple
Yeah.
and T-Rex
Yeah,
and
that helps.
all this great stuff that I was able to sneak her records out of her room when she wasn't
I have
around.
one older brother, and I remember him introducing me to first Smokey Robinson, Cat
Yeah.
Stevens, and a few others. The conduit.
Yeah. So
I
Cat
was like that.
Stevens and my sister was more Creedence Clearwater Revival.
That's great, man.
She got into some strange stuff, a lot of British stuff, Steel Eye Span, a lot of folk stuff. One of my closest girlfriends also Steel Eye Span, and just really interesting folk music. But for me, you know, the rock was, I had a brother, it was Jethro Tull, another brother, it was Bowie,
Yeah.
and then the folk rocking sister. So yeah,
What a mix.
a lot of influences there, and then of course I discovered punk rock on my own. So
That sounds like, cause my sister was, my oldest sister, she was into like the Slayer. She was into like early G.G. Allen and like 1980s rock and roll stuff.
mhm.
So my other sister was into like the hair bands like Cinderella,
Mhm.
Rat, and my other sister was into like Bobby Brown and
Oh yeah, so it's
New
covering
Kids on the
everything.
Block.
Yeah.
My dad was into
yeah.
old school George Jones,
Right.
Johnny
Yeah.
Cash.
Yeah.
My mom was into
Yeah, my dad
50s,
listened to that stuff,
60s.
too.
Yeah.
So it was like I was just a sponge.
Yeah.
I got it all, and then
Yeah.
I started playing music myself, and that was after that you just explore everything.
You know, what I could never figure out is I had a few friends that just didn't care about music. They didn't have a
Okay.
preference
Yeah.
to listening. They would never think of turning on the radio and
I still
me,
know I have a few friends like that, and it just boggles me.
I mean, that's the first thing I did when I went to visit a friend's house is I'd go for their record collection, whether it was their parents or their
Yep.
brothers or I just wanted to dig through it and see what was in there. And
Yep.
Having worked on people's vehicles most of my life, it's the one thing I'm always curious about is what do they have for music in their vehicle. I get surprised sometimes too. It's I like being surprised by it. But
Yeah.
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 I went to a show to see Presidents of the United States of America. Have you heard of them?
yes, yeah,
They play like their guitar player plays a bass, but with like 4 guitar strings on it, and their bass player plays a guitar with 2 bass strings on it.
Mm.
And so I'm at a biker bar with the Presidents of the United States of America playing, and I'm like, okay, this is not the right crowd for this band. And like then Kitty came on, and all these big bikers are meowing. I'm like, awesome! This is so awesome! I'm like, I felt like I was like, I'm not the only one. These
Well,
big bikers are like just loving it.
Yeah, it's really awesome that you would say that, because one of the funnest gigs that Mike and I ever did, we did it as a trio. Our lead guitarist was away, he was out of town. We had this gig in Revere, on Revere Beach, at a biker bar. I don't even remember the name.
Wait a minute, isn't that Revere?
Revere. But we wanted to do something really interesting and fun. So it was the drummer, Mike, and me. I was the guitarist at the time, lead singer. And I had these matching sundresses. They were like tank top sundresses. One was purple, one was turquoise, and one was red. And we decided that we'd play the gig in those at this biker
It's enough to
bar.
go around.
Sounds like something we've done.
You know, why not? But they just loved it. You know, we just wanted to push and see what would happen.
Not all of them loved it though. I remember one guy at the bar said, "You guys would be pretty good if you just dressed in regular clothes."
At least you didn't pinch your ass. Or did you?
Nope.
But you know, it's
go
fun. It's fun to push a little bit.
Yeah.
With what you listen to, what you read, what you watch. It's
Yep. What you think.
What you think, sure.
Yeah, that's the problem. A lot of people, they don't push their limits on how they think, and they're not afraid. They're afraid to change their mind.
Well, there's a lot of pressure on conforming, though.
There is.
Yeah.
It's
And I think a lot of people feel like, well, if I said this and I expounded about it 2 years ago, that means I have to believe that for the rest of my life.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
you have to be willing to accept new evidence and
Right.
take a new
Hey,
new look at
That's-
things.
That's so true.
yeah. We have to change. I mean, the saddest thing my father ever said to me once was, "Maybe you'll get the world you want when my generation is gone." I thought, wow, that's really sad.
Yeah. Why are you holding us back?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. It was a sad statement.
Yeah.
There's a song in there.
Probably.
I remember my dad, cause like all my friends are tattooed, pierced up, again, all punk looking, gothic looking, and he said to me, he's like, "You made me see that there was good people. If they look like that, they're good people."
That's awesome.
Yeah, that
That's
is
great.
awesome.
And so he stopped being so judgmental.
Yeah.
After
Yeah.
that,
Well, I have to say.
I don't think my father ever stopped.
No, but mine did.
My dad did say that he at least was happy that I wasn't following the herd. So that was high praise from him.
Yep.
That's great that you and your friends could have that kind of impact on
Yeah.
someone's life, though. That's
Yeah.
Because we had like like shit would happen and like they would be the ones to be there. They'd help my dad load a truck or something.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so he saw the goodness in
and it was the freakiest ones that were really most helpful. Like the
Yeah.
ones with tattoos on their faces. And
Sure.
so we're gonna take the last commercial break. We'll come back and we'll say goodbye to the Milkhouse Heaters after this next break.
Better hurry up and get it together. We've been wasting our time chasing the weather, picking up the pieces to our broken dreams, trying to make them fit into the mainstream. But we should take a page from the campfire punks, roadside rebels and boxcar monks. And when the rain comes down on the track of that train, it ain't coming back. And when the rails too slick for the grade, it's time to build a new city and learn a new trade. We need new ideas with a map and a plan. Give the power to the people and stick it to the man. I see women up in their fists in the air, cause the clock is ticking, the revolution's near. She was born, he insisted. She was given the rules, yet she persisted. Well, smash that ceiling and raise that roof. We know it's guilty and we got no proof. When the words are too harsh for the page, it's time to smash the old standard to build a new stage. Yeah, break out your cage, raise your voices, express a little rage. Break out your cage, raise your voices, express a little rage. Break out your cage, raise your voices, express a little rage. Break out your cage, raise your voices, express a little rage. up and get it together. We've been wasting our time chasing the weather, picking up the pieces to our broken dreams, trying to make them fit into the mainstream.
All right, we're back with Let's Chat. We got the Milkhouse heaters. You know, we were watching the thunderstorm. It's starting to brew, which is exciting. We're going to get to see a thunderstorm here in a second. But we want to get them to let us know, like, upcoming shows and all that stuff.
Yeah, what's going on in the near
So,
future?
I gotta show this off because it's amazing.
Oh yeah, I get that right up.
So there's Roots on the River,
Roots on the River.
and this is the possibly last
show.
Roots on the
Last
River.
Roots on the River.
Ooh,
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah,
20th.
it's the 20th.
Unless someone
And
takes it over.
Ray's hanging
done.
up his hat. He's got a lot of things he can help the next person coming in, if there is a next person, to pick up for the 21st annual Roots on the River.
Oh God, don't make me do it.
But we're super happy to be a part of this. We've also volunteered over the years, worked staff for the last few, and we get to play the farewell show, which is at the Moose in Bellows Falls. It's on Sunday, so it's after the Meeting House show with Mary Gaucher and a whole bunch of folks doing an amazing gospel hour. So after that, in the afternoon at the Moose, we'll be playing with a guy named Matt Seipel and the Coal River Ranters, who are amazing.
A lot of fun.
So that's on June 9th for us, but the festival is June 7th through June 9th, so yeah.
I think everybody
Totally
that's
psyched about
playing
this.
at Roots this year are people that have played there before.
It's
It's
the
an
alumni.
alumni year.
Yeah.
It is an alumni year.
20th
So,
year
I
celebration.
mean, so many
Gonna be great.
great acts here. So yeah, so that's next. We're totally excited about that. Actually, that's not next. June 1st, we're playing at the Copper Fox in Springfield. That's a Saturday night.
Next
and,
place.
6 to 9. And then on June 3rd, we're playing, I'm going to just check real quick, it's in Woodstock. There's an awesome musician over there. His name is Jim Yeager. He's doing a residency at Richardson Tavern at the Woodstock Inn and Resort. That's 14 The Green in Woodstock. We're going to play a 45-minute set.
Nice little shack they got there.
Yeah, it's a nice little shack. So we're happy about that. In August, end of August, we're playing, September 1st? We're playing the Plymouth Folk and Blues Festival this year. We're really excited about that. But you could go to our website, www.themilkhouseheaters.com. We do keep it updated with all of our dates.
Yep.
All right. Your website is any other ways people can reach out to you social media wise?
Yeah,
Facebook?
you can find
or?
us on Facebook, Milkhouse Heaters. You can find us on YouTube. Been having a ball with YouTube.
Yeah, go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. We really need some subscribers.
That's important, people.
Yeah,
hit
it
that
is.
red subscribe
It
button. When
is.
you're watching this show on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. When you go to their YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button. It really matters. It has to do with the algorithms and how frequently people see things.
Exactly.
So
It helps
hit
us a
that
lot.
red button.
Yeah.
It does help
Yep.
us a lot. So.
And we're on Instagram.
Yeah.
We're on Instagram. Milkhouse Mike.
Milkhouse Mike.
Milkhouse Jan.
Yep. You can find us there.
And
I like
most of
seeing you
those
guys'
links,
Instagram.
other than Instagram, are accessible through our website.
Yep.
Yep.
Exactly.
They're down at the bottom. And yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Well,
Very
there's
cool.
one question I usually slip in, and in case we screwed up. Is there anything we should have asked you that we didn't?
You know what? I will say this to any woman out there, whether you're just starting to date or you've been with somebody or you're getting into a relationship with somebody, and it's not just women. I don't mean to pick on women, but if you fall in love with a musician, he's gonna play music. That's who he is, right? Mike and I have been together for a really, really long time because we both love to play music, but we have lost many, many bandmates over the years.
Yeah. Due to,
because the girlfriend of the
The
wife.
funny thing about that, as I said that at a few different shows, because the girls will go to shows looking for a boyfriend on stage, and then they don't want them to play.
Right.
It's like, what the
I
hell?
don't
Yeah.
get it. Like, don't fall in love with a musician if you don't want him to play. It's like the coolest thing you can do to a person is to just not want,
And then
not
they-
let them be who they are,
And
right?
then they wonder why they're not happy anymore afterwards.
And there's
Right.
a lot of divorce and a lot of wrecked families and a lot of other things. And you know, musicians are. I mean, it's a passion. We tell people we're compelled to play music. We have.
Jan said it, we were doing an interview at Wool radio station in BF.
Well,
and
I
FM.
used to have a show on.
Jan put
Yeah.
it very well by saying, we don't do this because we want to, we do this because we have to.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Therapy.
It's who we are. So it's wonderful to date a musician. You know, whether you're a guy or a girl. Or you know, whatever your orientation is, it's fabulous. We're lovable people, but just remember it's something that we always need to do, and it doesn't always pay the bills. So
No. My wife says it's a hobby, not a career. Like,
Well-
yep, but it is
But
my
it
life.
pays the spiritual bills. You
It
know,
does.
if that's what keeps you centered and makes your life what you want it to be, then
And-
that's more important than paying bills.
right, and just remember that no matter what it is that you are, you're a musician first. So you know, a musician volunteer driver, or a musician bus driver, or a musician contractor. You know, musician first.
Yep.
That's it. So yeah.
Yeah, that's
Good
kinda-
advice.
That's kind of funny because I
Good
could bring
advice.
that up about how I've known a lot of band members that their girlfriends go to shows looking for a metalhead or something, and then they tell them they can't go to practice.
Well, the whole idea of starting a relationship with the odds, with the eyes toward making adjustments, is pretty much a bankrupt policy to begin with.
Right. It'd be like telling someone they couldn't go on a 100-mile bike ride, or
Yeah.
you know, they couldn't. Whatever your passion is, you fall in love with a person who has a passion. You have to make room for that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter whether it's music.
Reminds me of the movie
any
Fever
passion.
Pitch, where the guy's a Red Sox fan and he starts a relationship with a woman, and it's in the off season, so she doesn't really realize the gravity of the situation until the season comes along. It's great.
And how many games are there? I mean,
162.
okay, so that's
It's dedication.
that's more so than a musician.
Yeah.
We'd be thrilled to have 162 gigs a year.
We might have a hangover the next day, but some musicians, not all.
Some,
but
no, but that's part of it too. And you know,
I usually have the hangover the next day. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, let me sleep a little bit longer.
well,
So, we're going to wrap things up here.
Well, we got another 3-4 minutes.
okay,
3 or 4?
3 or 4.
Oh, yeah, we got it's downpouring right now.
Can you hear that?
I can hear
It's
that.
rain.
It's like the first thunderstorm of the season,
So let's make it 3 minutes.
All pretty cool if you're not riding a bike.
right?
So where do you guys see yourself in 10 years
Musically?
musically?
All over the country in 10 years. When
Well-
we retire,
That's what we're gonna do
what
full
we're gonna
time.
do. We're gonna travel and
Hey,
we're gonna
just
play.
gigs.
Just gigs. Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do.
Yesterday was a great day. It was completely volunteer based. You don't get paid for it, but it was a great day because a lot of people traveled that far just to go experience that that whole Plum Island vibe. That was
And that's an
going on.
annual event?
It is.
Annual event.
It is.
Yeah.
Everybody volunteers. They collect donations.
Which support a lot of really good programs
Yes,
on the island.
some of the for
So-
kids
Yeah, all for kids. Yeah.
to help keep them out of
So you know, we hope to be able
Trouble.
to just
trouble.
play music full time. In that sense, we'll never be retired.
No.
You know, it's
Right.
just playing and traveling and playing, and that's our 10-year plan. Yeah. So
It's not retirement, it's freedom from day job.
there you go.
That's
There
right.
you go. And freedom from a day job is retirement is out of reach for a lot of us.
Yeah.
So this will be our retirement. We'll earn and
Yep.
we'll enjoy it and we'll travel. So yeah,
Yeah, retirement's slightly out of reach for me, but I'm going to do it anyway.
good for you.
That's my plan is similar. I'm going to ride around the country in an antique van and ride my bikes in Moab and Southern California and Florida and the Rockies and.
Absolutely.
You hear that? So like 5 or 6 years ago, I need another co-host because I'll be still working.
Well, yeah, but you know, you'll figure it out. You will figure it out.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, hey, you've got a good gig here with Spanky's Dive Bar, and we're grateful. So
Thank you.
this could be, I mean, as a creator, you never know what your
Yeah.
future could be as a creator.
It's always changing.
I never expect to make anything off it. That's for sure. And
No.
if you start expecting it, then it loses.
We do it for fun, and we do it because we want to get the music out there. We want to give the people an opportunity to see and hear new music, and we want to give the bands and groups the opportunity to
And a selfish,
greet new audiences.
In a selfish aspect of it, I like to hear all kinds of new music.
Well, that's awesome. But you know, artists need. We need people like you.
Yep.
We need venues. We need the house concerts. If anybody ever wants to put on a house concert, send us an email.
House concerts.
It's a whole new thing. It's a whole very intimate way of hearing new music, bringing people into your home. We love that. We need shows like this. We need people to come out and see us. I mean, all of those roles are super important.
Yeah, so play your part,
That-
which is go
that-
out and see music.
That kind of
Live
leads into
music.
how you always end every show.
Pretty much, I don't even have to try. Just
No.
when I'm mentioning every show that is,
Go
people
out.
need to actually go out there. Yep, YouTube is great and Facebook is great and all the rest of it. But if you want to experience music in its realest sense, you have to go out and see shows and
It's
hear
nothing
people
like
play.
a live show. Yeah.
No, it's the most intrinsic art event because it only happens at one time, in one place, and then it never happens again the same way, and it's only a value to the people that were there to experience it. And so
like the birthday show.
don't sit on the couch.
Every one of those people that come to that birthday show, I might have met one or two of them a couple times, but after that, you're friends.
Right.
Like, you're close.
Right.
It's like you're hugging each
Right.
other by the end of the night and having a great time.
And that's the beauty of the house concert.
And especially when
Yeah.
there's
Yep.
a good band playing and everybody gets that smile on their face at the same time. They're like, "Oh wow, this band is awesome."
Yep.
And
There's
there's
a lot of division in our
love.
country right now, but music is the uniter and the unifier and brings
That's
us all
right.
together.
It
And,
is. It is.
I see people that are hardcore country addicts and people that are, dedicated metalheads dancing
Wow.
with each other by the
Johnny
end of the show.
Earthquake, yeah,
Right?
I love that.
And I just think it's great, especially when we have shows that include multiple genres. It's nice
Oh.
to get some people to
We've
experience
been to
the other
'em.
people's
Yeah.
music.
Yeah.
Great.
So that
Makes
was
it
going to
family.
be the wrap up, and you're going to hear some Milkhouse heater music now. Here goes what they just played a little bit ago. Make sure you subscribe to their channel, subscribe to our channel, and keep checking it out. And go to live shows.
Get out
Thank
there.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yes.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Thank you.
Yeah, right.